Hello and welcome to Pockenrop. In today's video I am returning to my series where I have been ranking the tracks of each of Paul McCartney's post-Beatles solo releases. I've been doing these approximately monthly, and so after 13 months I now reach the 14th release, and that is Press to Play, released in 1986. The production of the album by Hugh Padgham it's clearly a 1986 album, and there are so many stories about how unhappy these sessions were, both for the producer, for Paul himself, and for Paul's co-writer on over 50% of this album, which is Eric Stewart from 10cc. There was something clearly not right, and the production and that feel pervades the whole album. I'm doing my best in my ranking of the tracks, however, to try and ignore the dated production style. The next thing I need to address is exactly how many tracks I am actually going to be considering to be the album. The vinyl is 10. You'd think that's easy. Well, not so much. The CD was also released at the same time in 86, and that had 13 tracks on it. Whether or not these are bonus tracks, as they were all B-sides to singles but in different mixes in many cases, or whether they are part of the album, I don't think we'll really find out until such time as Paul does a proper archive for the Press to Play release. As a result, I'm going to rank the 10 tracks of the album, and then in a departure for this series I'm going to re-rank the 13 tracks. So, before I go into my rankings, I'm going to remind you to like the video, hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications of future content. And let's go in at number 10, where I have placed Press. Press was the lead-off single, and it's got a great driving rhythm, and that's it. That's all I like about the song. The lyrics are poor. We have the line, "I love you very, very, very much," which is just lazy songwriting. There is then the Oklahoma line, which Oklahoma was never like this. I don't detest that bit, but on the album version he then sings it again and takes it into a really low, weird register. But the execution of the song, even taking into account me putting aside the production issues, there are so many odd choices. The single version is better. There is also, I believe, another remix of it, which again is better, but the album version, it's so bad it actually makes me cross. It's a catastrophe of a hole on the Press to Play album. Number 10, Press. At number 9, I've placed track 3 from side 1, which is Talk More Talk. Now, I was 14 when I first heard Press to Play. I borrowed it from my local record library, and when I first heard Talk More Talk, I thought, WTF. And I still do. There are some who would rate this as great experimental maca, and there's no question about it. He's mucking about with sounds and styles and different vary speed on vocals. Apparently James McCartney delivers one of the lines on this. Again, there is rumours of an alternative mix of this that might lift it, but as it stands, Talk More Talk, I don't like it. It sits at number 9. Marginally better than Press for all of the reasons that I ragged Press for. At number 8, I have placed the album closer, However Absurd, and I've never liked However Absurd. The best thing about the track is that there is a slightly Beatlesque ending to it, but However Absurd is not a track I enjoy. Number 8. At number 7, I have placed track 2 from side 1, which is Good Times Coming, Feel the Sun. Now, I really dislike the first half. Good Times Coming. This is one of those songs that Paul has done throughout his career where he's taken multiple parts of songs, smushed them together and created something new. He did it all the way through things like Day in the Life, the medley on side 2 of Abbey Road. We have things throughout his career all the way up to Despite Repeated Warnings from Egypt Station. The problem with Good Times Coming In is that the lyrics are rubbish. I mean, it's laziness almost on the part of Press when we get That Was a Golden Summer, la-di-da. I mean, maybe there's a bit of a Liverpool joke in there, perhaps, and which I'm not getting. But Good Times Coming I really dislike. But I love Feel the Sun Shining. And I want more of that tiny little bit that we get of Feel the Sun. And perhaps, again, when we talk archive, we might get a full version of Feel the Sun Shining. I would much rather have had a full version of that song than Good Times Coming. That's why it's at number 7. At number 6, I have placed the penultimate track from the record, which is Angry. This is a bit of a highlight of the record for me. I think there's a better remix out there that I've heard on the B-side to one of the singles. Some great attack in the playing and the singing. It's almost Paul rapping. The lyrical construction of the verses is, I think, amongst Paul's best. He got a huge amount of flack in the press around the time, which I think had really riled him, and he led him to write Angry. Now, it gets a lot of diss from McCartney fans, but for me, Angry is one of the highlights of the record, as I've placed it at number 6. At number 5, I have placed Move Over Busker, which is one of the few straight-up rock and roll type songs on the record, and it's just fun. Great lyrical construction, fun lyrics, some kind of nod and wink stuff like Come Up and See Me Sometime to do with Mae West, which it's just a really good song. There's some lovely 10cc touches in there as well, which I'm assuming Eric Stewart provided in the backing vocals and in the middle 8. And it's got a great cold ending. It just finishes properly. There's no fade out. Move Over Busker, my number 5. Now we move into the top 4, which for me are all top draw McCartney, actually. So much as Press to Play is a very mixed bag, for me it has 4 tracks that I think are absolutely fantastic. The first one of these I've placed at number 4 is Only Love Remains, and it gets so little love amongst people that it kind of saddens me. In my view, it stands as one of his very best ever ballads. I like the lyrics. Production I don't think really serves it that well. The single version has got the ubiquity of an 80s sax on it, which just tips it below the quality on the vinyl album release. This is one of the few tracks from around the period that Paul has ever played live. And he played it on the Wogan show. And I remember thinking that it was a huge hit. It wasn't. It got to number 41 or 42 or something. I think it's possibly his most underrated song. Number 4, Only Love Remains. At number 3, I have placed Footprints. This is a gorgeous ballad, a beautiful story song about the old man in the snow. It is all sparked apparently by Eric Stewart saying, "Oh, it's beautiful outside," when they were arriving at Hog Hill Mill Studios, and Paul took that idea and built a song with Eric. Footprints is lovely, really, really fine. There's a vulnerability and weakness in Paul's vocals on this song, which, unlike some of the other stuff on here, I can forgive. Remember, he hadn't been touring for 6 years. I think that his instrument was out of use. Spanish guitar break in it is absolutely lovely. And this is an interesting point that you may not have noticed. The song doesn't resolve. So whatever key it's in, it doesn't actually land back on the root chord at the end of the song. It leaves you hanging. And that, for me, given that it's a pretty melancholy song anyway, just nudges it that little bit higher in terms of its beauty. It's a really lovely song, Footprints, and one of those songs that non-McCartney fans should listen to when they diss him for what he writes, because Footprints is great. At number 2, I have placed the album opener Stranglehold. Now, I've heard people say that Stranglehold should be done for misadvertising, because you listen to Stranglehold and you think, I'm going to get a banging Paul McCartney album, and you don't quite get that. Stranglehold suggests that this is going to be a rocking album, which again, you don't quite get that. It's not perfect, and I do wonder if there is a remix out there that would perhaps fix a few of the problems I've got with it. I don't think the drums particularly serve the song that well, and 1980s sax 9 times out of 10 can go and do one. But Stranglehold is a strong McCartney song, and it's why I've placed it at number 2 above things that are It's a proper rocker. I love a good, proper Paul McCartney rocker. And finally, at number 1, I have praised Pretty Little Head. And my 14-year-old self would now be writing me a letter saying, "What the hell are you thinking?" It's safe to say that when I first heard Press to Play and the track Pretty Little Head, I hated it. I truly hated Pretty Little Head. What a turnaround in over 30 years, because Pretty Little Head is comfortably the best thing on here. It's experimental in a way that I like. It's minimalist. It's kind of dark. It's got fantastic attitude, an attack. It's a weird little song. And he released it as a single. This was the follow-up single to Press. It was his first single since the Beatles, and therefore ever to fail to chart, because it was a brave choice but a wrong-headed choice. I love Pretty Little Head. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Now I like the remix version as well. It's my number 1 off the Press to Play album. Or is it? Because I do need to turn to the 3 extra tracks that are on the CD. Now normally I would just say these are bonus tracks, but in the album are the famous gated drawings. So these things, that position where you can hear stuff in the mix. And the reason why I'm going to consider these 3 tracks is because those drawings by Paul were done for those 3 tracks as well. And therefore, we still don't know if he considers them part of the album or not. So, number 13, if I was re-ranking now, number 13 is Press. 12, Talk More Talk. 11, However Absurd. 10, Good Times Coming, Feel the Sun. And at number 9, It's Not True. So, I think It's Not True has got an absolutely great opening. I love the vocals and the drums that kick the song off. Lovely bass on it. Decent verses and a really fine chorus. Overall, though, I just find that It's Not True drags on a little bit too long. And immediately ahead of it, at number 8, I've placed Right Away. You've got the feet sound. Again, that diagram of the sound. You've got a left foot and a right foot on those drawings that show you that it's properly stereo balanced. It's a weird way to kick off the track, but as the music and the vocals kick in, it's better than about half of the whole Press to Play album, and really should have been on it. Terrific jazzy piano in the instrumental break, and quite possibly one of the best vocals that Paul's got from this period. Number 7, we've got Angry, and 6, Move Over Busker. And at number 5, I've placed Tough on a Tightrope, the last of the 3 extra tracks. For me, I think this is the best of them. I love the bass work on it, the vocals on it. I think Paul's in really fine voice here. Like Right Away, this is better than over half of the original album. And it's another one that I think I want to hear the remixed versions for, because you can't get away from the fact that the production seriously hampers this record, and the remix versions seem to improve some of those tracks. So that concludes my ranking of the 10, or is it 13, tracks of Press to Play. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. I am almost certainly going to do a reimagined on the Press to Play album, because I feel that there is a distinct missed opportunity. I'll be back in a week with another video, but before then, I remind you to like, subscribe and hit the bell. I'll see you in a week. Thanks for watching.